Hello, everybody, and welcome to the White Hatter YouTube News Show. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Darren.
Let's get into some news topics.
In the news.
First news topic for the week is Peloton's back in the news.
What's Peloton?
Peloton is that smart bike and treadmill company.
Just in case I knew what it was, just in case some of our
I think most people are probably familiar with the amount of ads that they've been pushing for in-home workouts over the last year and a half.
That's true. So it's the stationary bike, basically. But it connects to the internet and allows you to have almost like virtual reality. So when you're cycling, you can feel like you're
and training and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Peloton, has had a couple issues in the past, with some recalls.
Yep.
Regarding their treadmill and whatnot. But recently, there was detected from a security researcher from McAfee Enterprise Advanced Threat Research Team.
Ooh, that's quite the handle.
That's quite the name. That's quite the handle. Announced discovery last week that revealed a flaw in their Android software app that could potentially allow a hacker to install their own applications, take over the camera of the bike and a microphone without leaving evidence.
So is this something that would be called a zero-day exploit?
Yeah, basically they discovered it. So there wasn't any reports of this actively being.
Yeah, so it wasn't already out there being used as far as these researchers.
They did find there was evidence that would show you wouldn't leave evidence.
Right.
So but the fact remains there was a flaw. It is now updated.
Right.
So through a software update, through the app and the bike, it no longer functions that way.
Kind of creepy one though, right? Like the person can actually watch you when you're on with the other camera.
It's interesting because we still get a lot of questions from students who ask, can someone watch me through my camera on my phone? And the answer is unlikely.
They could.
It's the internet. Anything's possible. But overall, it's very, very unlikely.
It's more through your laptop cameras or external webcam.
But even then, if you're downloading regular things through proper app stores.
Oh, we're going to talk about downloading things through proper app stores.
But if you're not doing anything bad, the chances of bad things happening and viruses being targeted against you are going to be unlikely. Like your computers out of the box are pretty good at deterring random viruses from popping your computer and turning on your camera.
But that shouldn't stop people from still downloading anti-malware,
True.
Right?
But what's interesting about this story is that in regarding to Peloton, it's not the phone's camera, it's the camera on the smart bike.
Right.
So, and we're seeing that trend. See, when smartphones first came out many, many years ago, what was the issue? The issue was the cameras.
Yeah, for sure.
And the security of a smart device. Yeah. Brand new, security was not really heard of, and we're seeing that with smart tech.
Yeah, we saw that like a couple of years ago. The baby monitor issue was the big one, right? The Wi-Fi baby monitors where people could drive neighborhoods and boop, all of a sudden they're clicking, they're watching like people's in-home cameras. And then it turned into security cameras on property that weren't being properly secured and people were accessing that, right? Like there's actually sites online that you can go to where people who haven't locked down their cameras properly, you can go and see what they're looking at. It's like kind of creepy actually, right?
Yeah, so... or smart locks.
Yeah.
A lot of but as of the last couple years, we're seeing a lot more smart lock manufacturers developing security protocols for the smart device. So we are seeing more smart in-home technologies being built with security in mind.
And that's been a big change, right? Because traditionally, security was never a starting point, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, the other thing too is if you're buying product that has cameras in it and it's cheap stuff from China, well then there's
this isn't cheap. This is a super expensive Peloton Plus bike.
That's true. But what I'm talking about is these other cameras that you can get online right now that are cheaper, but they're made in like China and that kind of stuff. Well, maybe their protocols aren't as great, right? Their whole idea is just to push this stuff out. Whatever's popular, let's copy it and sell it.
Pretty much.
Right? So interesting one though, right? Creepy.
A couple stories there in regards to be careful of your smart technology you buy, have your updates enabled, and all that stuff.
I don't know if anybody would want to see me cycling on my bike. Just saying. Just saying. A boomer dad on his stationary bike cycling. I don't know if people would want to see. Does that bring a picture to mind at all?
I'm trying not to.
Don't think of a gray elephant.
Yeah, there you go.
In fact, I'm the gray elephant on the bike. Anyways, next one.
Next one. Oh yeah, we have a new camera, by the way.
Oh.
We have.
Yeah, we got camera one.
This is new.
Okay, let's do our cameras. Let's do the camera thing first. Let's go.
Camera
one, camera two, camera three,
I guess that one's the
That's
3.
the jib, right? That's the one that's fully.
We haven't properly labeled them all yet.
Camera 4.
Camera 4 is maybe it's going to be this one.
Do it. Oh yeah, down one. Camera 5.
Maybe that one.
Oh, that's our back camera. That's what we're looking at right now on our set. Camera 6.
Would be the green screen. Oh well. It's not turned on because it's not normally used for the
That's
show.
True. But we got 6 cameras now.
1, 2, 3, 4. What? 2, 4, 6. Yeah, 6 cameras.
We got 6 cameras.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got your master's degree, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just checking. Oh my God. Okay, next one.
All right, next one is.
It's cool though. All these cameras. We can do some really cool things with them,
cool.
right?
New story. Malware infected Minecraft mod pack app hits Google Play Store.
You're a Minecraft guy.
I am Minecraft.
Aren't you an admin, or is that what it's called?
I admin a couple servers for people.
Yeah.
So Minecraft. So interesting story in regards to Minecraft.
What's Minecraft? Just for people who don't know what Minecraft is.
Who doesn't know what Minecraft is?
There could be people who don't know what Minecraft is.
It's a game.
Okay.
It's virtual Legos.
That's a good way to kind of put it, right? That's what it is. It's like virtual Legos.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Minecraft. So there was a detected app posing to be a Minecraft mod pack app, which gave you extra.
What's a mod pack?
It kind of modifies the game to give you cool extra features and such.
And only certain people have the ability to do that, right?
Only if you download the mod pack.
Okay.
Mods come from very different formats.
Okay.
But overall, what happened from researchers at Kaspersky detected that this app repeatedly opened the device browser to play YouTube videos, displayed flash ads, and launched other Google Play advertisements, and which could potentially lead to other potential threats.
Right.
So, this
is my question for you.
Yes.
In a lot of the shows, we always talk about apps that are malicious in nature, and that really we should only be downloading apps from reputable stores, right?
Yep.
Like Apple, Google Play Store, and that kind of stuff. But here's an example where this was actually on a reputable Google Play Store.
True.
And it was being downloaded. So my next question, because I always ask these questions, is what's your defense? Like, so what should kids and families be thinking about to protect themselves from this?
I mean,
or can you?
Well, that kind of goes into the idea of what you purchase should be legitimate and reasonable, or what you download.
Yeah, but if I'm ordering it off the Google Play Store, I'm thinking it's in the Google Play Store, so it's legitimate, and I want it because it's a mod. It allows me to do modding in Minecraft.
But if you go to a hardware store and you buy a power saw and you hurt yourself, it's a legitimate purchase.
Right.
But you didn't use it effectively.
What? How do you draw a correlation between a chainsaw that you're not using appropriately and an app that you're going to use appropriately, but you just didn't know had malicious?
We could say go to a hardware store and everything in there is safe and legitimate because it's a legitimate product you can buy.
Right. Yeah.
But if you purchase the product, you take it home and you misuse it, or
but you don't have to misuse this product.
Okay, fair.
Right? Like, you sure you got your master's degree? Like, it's first thing in the morning. Have you been caffeinated yet?
No, I haven't yet.
Oh my God, that would be my only question, right? Like, but I do think that this brings up an interesting point. The risk of downloading an app off of the Google Play Store because it's open source, it being infected with some form of malware is far greater than an app that's in the iTunes Store, right?
True, because to put an app on a Google Play Store and the Apple iTunes Store, you have to be a developer, have a developer account, you have to pay your yearly $100 fee.
Right.
So there is some deterrence to prevent just anybody posting any app out there. So
not a big deterrence.
It is safer, but it's not.
There have been cases in the iTunes Store where they have found malicious apps as well, right? Like they have.
And this is the case Apple saying why they want to keep things locked down.
I know. That we talked about in a couple of shows.
We talked about in a couple of shows in terms of the court cases going
on. That's one of the issues with the Google Play Store because it is open source. I mean, we have an app on both the iTunes Store and the Google Store, right? Yes. And we paid some money to put it on there. It wasn't that much, but
it's about $100 per platform.
Yeah, but if you're putting malicious software in there that you're going to gather information that's going to make you a couple $100,000 a year, what's $100, right? Yeah. It's like a drop in the bucket. But again, maybe what you need to also do is before you download the app, maybe do some research on the app first as well, Remy, to find out who is this person, what is their rating.
Generally, what I would do is I look at the developer.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Is that, and when you look at developer, you go, oh, is this an actual? There's a lot of apps on various app stores that assist you with your Google account.
Yeah.
Well, if I click on the developer and it's not the actual Google Inc., well, then maybe I'm not going to download the app.
Yeah.
So that is a potential way of...
But that takes effort.
It does take effort.
It does take effort. Right? But, I mean, it's up to you, right? It's just up to you. But here's a really good example how, an app in a reputable app store had malware built into it, right? And as a result of that, what was the bad thing that it could do again?
It said it could... Nothing terribly... terrible. Basically, it was
terrible.
It's the morning.
Master's, right?
It's the
Master's
morning.
degree, right?
It's the morning. Wow. I have a break coming up. Oh, by the way, we're taking about 2 weeks off from the show because it's our yearly taking a break. Now that school's coming to a close.
We since January, little off note here, little off topic, but since January of this year, I think we've done just over 210 now virtual presentations.
Sometimes 3 a day, yeah.
Sometimes there were 4 in a day.
Sometimes there were 4 in a day.
Right?
Where I do 3, you do 1.
You've worked hard, we've all worked hard, but especially you, right? So we taking a couple weeks off, but knowing you, you'll still be tiddling and tallying a little bit, doing stuff, right?
I'm not used to play games.
Yeah, there you go. I know, that'd be cool. I mean, you for Father's Day, you bought me, summer for me is a time to read books, right? And you got me a really kind of cool book on digital dossiers and all that kind of stuff.
Artificial intelligence. And the biases.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, reading that. So 2 weeks, we're taking a 2 week break.
Just a note, we usually say at the end of the show, but I guess we're saying it now. We'll be taking a break.
My God.
I'm done.
You're on fire.
Goodbye. I'm done. It's break. See you.
Oh my God. Let's get through this show. Holy crow.
I'm going to be sleeping on those 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
All right. So your question was, what did the app do? Nothing super terrible.
Okay.
That's the word I wanted to use.
Okay. Terribly terrible. Yeah.
Play YouTube videos, display flash ads, and open other websites.
Okay.
So it more so just malicious advertising.
Totally.
But
okay.
Yeah. Next topic.
Oh.
A bug in iOS can break an iPhone Wi-Fi connection using a rogue hotspot name. So
I read about this. Maybe you can go into more detail on this one.
So basically, an individual, security researcher and such, were testing different Wi-Fi networks, and someone had labeled their Wi-Fi network with a percentage sign in the beginning of it. By doing so, connecting to that network through your iPhone basically crashed your Wi-Fi connection, and you would not be able to turn it back on. Ooh. It would keep bugging out unless you go into your settings, general, reset network settings, and confirm request. Then it would refix the connection. Remember like a couple years ago how there was this bug in iPhones when you would text somebody a string of characters, they would open the message and it would crash their phone. What is it, Apple, with you and somehow these bugs of strings of text crashing iPhones?
I'm an Apple fanboy, as you know.
Yeah.
Like, I just am. I just love the Apple product. But, with any kind of technology, there's going to be little things like, who would have known, right? So, has Apple fixed this issue yet?
I haven't heard anything.
So, what's
as of the time of this recording, as of this morning.
Before you had a coffee, what is your defense against this then?
One, you probably shouldn't be connecting to people's networks anyways, randomly.
Right.
That is also an issue.
But it's open, it's free, man.
Yeah. If the network has like percentage signs in it, avoid it. Or if you have a next door neighbor who tends to use your Wi-Fi, just, just put a percentage sign in there and be like, crash.
You just gamed this.
What?
You just gamed it, right? But you're right. I mean, set up a honeypot for them to click on and
We'll get one of our old routers.
Right.
We'll just set it up and be like, free Wi-Fi. Percentage sign.
Exactly.
Crash.
Only on the iPhone, though, right?
Oh, Android wasn't detected.
Yeah, and it was only the iOS. It wasn't.
Mac.
It wasn't the Mac, right?
No.
It was only iOS. Yeah.
iOS. So that would involve iPads, iPhones.
You're a little evil there. That was a little evil. Let's
say your neighbor. You should probably have passwords on your Wi-Fi.
That would be
so your network couldn't be accessed publicly by your neighbor.
Right, and that's I mean, that's so important, right? Because, a lot of people don't know that they aren't necessarily locked down by default. You have to do it personally. And if you don't, a next door neighbor could be getting into it and therefore slowing down your internet connection.
Thankfully, if you buy a brand new router from the store or something, generally, by default, it walks you through the password setup process.
Right. And you got to change it from A, B, C, D.
You as a user can disable that if you so choose to not do that. But generally, it advises you to don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
So the defense to this is...
Don't connect to Wi-Fi networks with %, and don't connect into rogue networks anyways.
Yeah. But even then, you got to be careful, because if you're sitting on Wi-Fi, there's nothing out there to stop. Like, if you get rid of that picture that's up there, zoom in on your laptop, do you have the... Oh, there's the pineapple. Right? Point to the pineapple picture, right?
It's actually back there.
There it is, the pineapple.
It's there on the shelf.
Over my shoulder.
Yeah.
It's a piece of hardware software that you can set it up where you're sitting in Starbucks and you can create something that says free Starbucks Wi-Fi.
Yes.
And people not knowing any better because they want to go to Starbucks.
Illegal to use outside a controlled setting.
Right.
That you control.
Right. And for pen testing. And
for pen testing. Right? You can't take that, go to your local coffee shop and then steal people's data.
But people do.
People do that.
People do it.
But just saying, as white hat security researchers, we understand where the boundaries are.
For sure. But again, when you're in a Wi-Fi, an open Wi-Fi, you just don't know if that open Wi-Fi is legit.
True.
Or if you're in an airport. I mean, we hear this all the time where these criminals go in and they put up free hotspots in the airport that are just a honeypot for you to click on so you can get in, right?
Or an intelligence agency.
Oh, intelligence agencies. Wow.
With 3 letters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
FBI, CIA, CSIS is 4. CSIS is 4 in Canada,
4.
Right?
Okay. We're a little extra here in Canada.
Yeah, we're a little
extra. We have an extra.
A. Speaking of Canada.
Oh, right. Segues are weird. Prosecution issues a draft guidance on police use of facial recognition technology.
Yeah, I wanted this into the show today because it kind of builds upon last week where we talked about the federal privacy commissioner came out and basically slapped the hand of the RCMP.
Oh, you mean when they said they weren't using Clearview AI, but the reports show they were using it because of leaked customer lists of Clear? Well, check in that show when we talked about that.
Exactly.
That was interesting.
Exactly, right? So this kind of builds upon this. Well, so the federal privacy commissioner with all the provincial privacy commissioners got together because they recognize that this type of technology is becoming more of an issue, right? For all kinds of different reasons, not just by police, but by government, by private business, all that kind of stuff. So what they've done is they've drafted basically a white paper, right? To basically put out there publicly to say, hey, listen, this is what we're looking to enact right across the country. What do you think, right? And so they're putting it out there for law enforcement, private businesses, lawyers, everybody to have a look at, so that they can make recommendations as to their thoughts. So I think it's a good idea because the genie is now out of the bottle, right? So now that the genie's out of the bottle, how do we go about controlling the genie, right? And so that's what I think these privacy commissioners, both the federal and the provincial, are doing, is they're looking at ways to go, okay, now that this technology is available, doesn't mean now that the technology is available that you should use it just because, and if you are using it, what are the criteria for it to be used? What kind of checks and balances are going to be put in place, right? Because I think that's especially true when it comes to government agencies using this type of stuff, right?
True.
Just so
but then I will pose the question going,
oh God, here we go.
I'm in a country, maybe it's generally a little more red in nature, a little more northern, and what's stopping them from using this technology against us?
Absolutely nothing.
There's no.
I mean, that's the other concern that I have is, I've said this to you as well, is I think the Gen Z and the Gen A now, the Alpha, the Generation Alpha, which is the new generation, and I think even millennials such as yourself, who want to get into business or careers where you're doing undercover work. So maybe spies, right? Like CSIS, FBI, all that kind of stuff, or undercover work with I think it's going to be much, much harder because of this facial recognition that's going on, right?
I don't know. That's called plastic surgery.
Yeah.
If you're working for a spy agency, I'm sure they have the technology to, give you some plastic surgery to change various features of your face to make you less detectable.
Maybe, but would you want that to happen?
Well, if you're a spy.
I know. But it's very interesting, right? Like, let's say you're an undercover police officer, right? Where you're working organized
Maybe then
crime.
you won't get facial recognition surgery.
Where you're doing undercover operation with organized biker gangs, outlaw motorcycle gangs, right? Like, you come in, you want to join. Oh, your name's Brandon Lawyer. Oh, just a second. Look at my camera here. Boop. Why is your name Constable John Smith and it looks like you're a member of the Vancouver Police Department?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean... It's very interesting.
Yeah, true. But at the same time, that same technology is being used against those folks too.
And I think the other thing that they talk about in this paper is the fact that the false positives, and we've talked about this as well.
That's
right?
what I think that book's going to talk about.
Yeah.
Well,
The
more
one
so
that
the
you got me?
algorithms. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, right? Because it's interesting as well how the technology was being used by law enforcement in the United States, and they were getting a number of false positives where they were now arresting people based upon facial recognition only. And reading this paper like I did, one of the things they said is that it should only be used as a part of the investigational process, right? So just because you get a positive hit, you better dig a little deeper to make sure that that person is actually who they say and not a negative positive. Or how does that? Positive,
False
negative?
positive?
False positive. That's it. I haven't had my coffee yet either. Interesting show. Oh, we got another one going here too, right?
Kind of on the same track of like facial recognition and technology. Facebook came out with an announcement through a partnership deal. They're working with Michigan State University to create technology that can detect whether video or images is deep-faked or genuine.
Interesting.
And apparently, given their analysis and their current project, it's being built in such a way that it can detect the rough origin of the deepfake technology. So, using machine learning, it's basically scanning images, determining deepfake or not, and then detecting what kind of algorithms are being used to create the deepfake in order to reverse engineer what software was used to figure out where it came from.
This is an issue, right? Deep fakes are becoming more and more of an issue. I was just watching, as you know, I watch TikTok quite a bit, and they have the Tom Cruise deep fake on there, right? Like, this guy is not Tom Cruise, but you would swear that it's Tom Cruise, right? Like, or you look at some of the deep fakes that are being made with Putin or some of the other world leaders, where they get them to say things.
Biden dancing together.
Where they can say things that you would think that that's them actually saying it. It's not. Or we're seeing it now for abuse, right? Within sexually or child sexual abuse material, right? Or sexual abuse material now, where you can create deep fakes of anybody you want into full nude. It's like it's a concern, right? So it's
certainly.
Who was the other company that who owns not Photoshop, but Adobe, right?
Adobe
does own Photoshop.
Yeah.
Like they've got a program too that they've been developing.
I haven't seen anything about it like being public per se. Most of these companies, like with Facebook and these other ones we've mentioned in the past, that are building this deep fake detection technology, I don't know how they're going to market that or what they're going to do it for. There's not very many like deep fake detection free programs out there.
I actually saw a company
I
actually saw a company now that is using deep fake technology to create basically holograms of family members who have passed. Right? So now you can kind of interact with your dead whoever in your family. It's kind of creepy. However, for some people, it may be a form of closure for them too, right? Like it's interesting to see where this is going, right? So it's kind of like Star Trek's holodeck. Remember that? The holodeck on Star Trek, right? Where you're just put into this world now where it's artificially generated. It's like the Matrix, right?
Like Matrix 4 comes out soon.
What?
It's in January. They delayed it because of
COVID?
Yeah. I think it's in, next
is Keanu Reeves in it again? Oh, very cool. I'm waiting
originally, it was going to be John Wick and The Matrix would be launched on the same weekend.
Ooh.
But that was the original plan, and people waiting for what's going to win.
Well, I like the last John Wick. I loved it, right? Like
that's
the blood guts. Your mom really liked it. She really liked the part where he put the person's eye out. Like it was kind of embarrassing. I was sitting in the theaters with her, and she went, "Yeah!" Right? It's like, oh my god, I'm shaking in my chair and stuff. So really, that'd be two at the same time.
But not now. They're different times because scheduling's evolved.
You know, the other movie that I want to see is Top Gun, the new Top Gun. Oh,
has that been released or did they delay it?
I think they delayed it as well. I think it's out later this year.
Huh. All right. All I know is all major movies have been rearranged and delayed and whatnot.
Yeah.
So,
John Wick. Ooh, yeah.
John Wick 4 and Matrix 4.
That'll be a good one.
So like people were like at the same time. You do back-to-back theater watchings.
Yeah. You know, a lot of actors, Keanu Reeves, what I like about him is he's very humble. Like, he takes a lot of his money that he makes and he donates it. A lot of people don't know that he was dyslexic, right? Like, he had a learning disability and stuff too, right? So, pretty cool. Pretty humble guy, too.
All right. That's the show.
Uncaffeinated. Brought to you. No.
I'm not.
No, you're uncaffeinated.
I'm not caffeinated.
Right. Okay.
I gotta wake up.
Yeah, for sure.
Which means we're gonna be taking some time off, so don't expect a new show for a couple weeks, and then we'll get back to it with our summer programming.
Yeah, for sure. Looking forward to it.
Which usually we do a couple extra special lives.
Yeah, we'll do some lives during the summer, right here and there. But we have a lot of other plans that we've got going. Right?
We also usually do a back to school YouTube live.
Yeah.
Near the end of August.
Yeah.
So we are planning on doing another one this year, aiming for that time frame again. So look forward to that.
Yeah, and I think we have some giveaways for that.
Yes, we do.
We won't divulge the secret yet.
Yes,
so.
We have some plans.
Yeah.
And then probably some other Q&A special events happening too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So on behalf of myself, I'm Darren.
And Brandon, thank you all so much, and we'll see you again next time.
See you in a couple weeks. Bye now.